got through. I was
Difficulties.
I was having some problems there, which is, and I just memorized Tammy's number, too.
I'm so sorry. This is Tammy. I accidentally forgot my other phone at the house, so sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. It's all right. It's all right. How you doing, James?
I'm doing all right. I was just doing some bridges for the spine. But, just chilling. Getting over a really bad headache last night. I mean, it was like the worst headache ever.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
When you get a headache in jail, like, there's no help. So, it really sucks.
Yeah. I suffer from migraines occasionally, so I can sympathize.
You get migraines?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the worst. And I wouldn't think I would get as much because I stopped smoking, and I still get them. So I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I'm so sorry, but I'm glad to hear that your headache is better.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely is. I spoke to my lawyer yesterday, and, he's pretty hopeful. I think you and, I don't know if I saw Mickey. I tried not to look back too much while I'm in court. It just, I don't know, it didn't feel like what I am, which is like, a student that got caught up in some dumb, just very simple. I want to look sympathetic. I want to try to be, but
right.
I try not to look back too much. That whole thing was so weird. And then, there's five of us on the indictment, but only me and my co-defendant are locked up. So they bring us in and handcuffs. I guess they take them off before I get there, but it's so weird because we're shackled up until the moment they let us out, like animals.
Yep.
Right.
It's pretty weird.
And then
how long were you guys waiting? We were sitting back there.
Well, when they get ready to bring you guys in, it's like basically the judge would come in and then they would go get you guys. So it wasn't too terribly long. But we would wait forever for the judge to get on the bench.
Okay. Right. So I want you to be honest. I don't know. Is there more of like a presumption of guilt for people that are brought in like that? Like I know we were wearing like street clothes. We were wearing street clothes, like trying to dress nice. But like I don't know. It's kind of weird because the other ones are in on their own accord. They're free and they kind of bring us in. I mean, it would have been way worse if we were wearing orange, the DC orange. But
right.
I mean, was it like weird a little bit? Did it kind of like and then here comes these guys? What did you think about that?
I thought it was very strange that y'all five were even on the same indictment. It didn't seem... Sometimes it doesn't seem like there's a lot of rhyme or reason on why they put certain people on the same indictment. I mean, quite frankly, your trial seems more like the Ryan Samsel show. I didn't see a whole lot of anything else being presented. I mean, there was a lot of evidence presented against Ryan Samsel, and there's a lot of stuff talked about the fences, but I don't know. It just seems very strange to me why certain people are on this indictment and others are not,
Yeah, it's really weird. And all of us got bond except for Ryan, so that was weird. So I hope that kind of speaks to them. I don't know, I guess for whatever reason they saw it, but I hope that speaks to kind of their... I don't want to go into it too much, but I mean, I hope that means something because I had bond at one point too.
Right.
But
well,
I don't know.
Peter Schwartz he was locked up and other defendants weren't. When he was, there were 3 people on his indictment, and it did not work in his favor. But it is also part of that can be an argument during appeal also.
Yeah.
I wanted to sever from day one, and it seems like the government would have been, it seems like they almost did sever, just like talking about him the whole time, so, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird getting wheeled in there every day, and the whole process was terrible going down to that courtroom and sitting in the dungeon and sleeping in there, because, during the 2-hour lunch, they give us the bologna sandwich and cookies at the beginning of the day, and that's all we get for the whole day. And I'm so tired of eating that crap. I stopped eating it by the end.
Right.
I just
You'd rather just starve, right?
Yeah, I'd rather not eat anything. And like, oh my God, the sink was stopped up in one of them. I don't know if I told you, but like the sink was stopped up and the biggest cockroach was just sitting. I guess he got stuck in there and couldn't climb out of the sink. And oh my God, it was so big. It was like the one on the Orkin commercial with like the leg spikes and all that. It was so big. And I'm just thinking like, dude, this is, first of all, it's supposed to be Washington, D.C. too, but dude, the marshals were so rude. One of them, you know, they strip search you when you get in there when you're coming from D.C. and you get strip searched before you leave D.C., but they're going to do it again, I guess. But dude, after he takes my clothes, he throws them on the ground at my feet. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I was like, really? And after that, I think he even felt embarrassed, and he was like, he started telling some other story about what everyone else was talking about, telling it to me. So I think he did feel bad, but yeah, I mean, dude, just throwing my clothes on the ground like I'm a prostitute or something. It's really disrespectful. So
Well,
I'm
you know, I
glad the
think
process is
sometimes
over.
these marshals and other court employees forget that you guys are human and that you should be treated
It certainly
humanely.
felt like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It
So-
definitely felt like that.
Real quick before we go any further, I know who I'm speaking to, but just for the people on the live stream that may not have caught it, who's on the phone?
Hey guys, this is James Grant. My indictment has me as James Tate Grant. I don't know why they wanted to list my middle name, but they did. But yeah, I was at the front gate up there on the Ray Epps line. And I just got finished with trial in late October and then waiting to hear a verdict. Got high hopes, you know, good hopes, I think. But yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm in the middle of trial. But yeah, James Grant, I've been in for 22 months. This should have been my second year of law school, but here I am, still in jail. Definitely something I wake up shocked about. I mean, yeah, I was talking to another guy, Curtis Tate, and he's got my last name. My middle name is his last name.
Right.
And yeah, it's so surreal. And he got some rough news yesterday about a potential. I shouldn't talk about his stuff. But yeah, the whole thing. He was just saying how surreal everything felt. This whole thing does seem surreal. It seems like a fever dream, like when you're sick.
Right.
And like you just go through it, and yeah, and it's like we're still in here, and you can't remember anything. That's one thing they don't tell you is in jail. You don't remember anything. I don't know if it's the fluoride in the water, or I think my theory is the setting is always the same, and you're always with the same people doing the same thing.
Right.
But like, I couldn't tell you if something was last week or last month. Literally, it's crazy, and I've always prided myself on having a good memory. But there's a lot of stuff about jail that they don't tell you about. I'm still doing it, and the way I viewed it, I think this is a really healthy way. Is that I've just viewed everything like a really bad camping trip. Like we're just roughing it. We're super roughing it, and I think that's when a good defense mechanism. Because if you stop and think like I'm spitting over a garbage can, because I'm sure Tammy might know, but you're not supposed to spit in the sink ever, especially in a shared dorm. But you know, even if you have a cellmate, you don't spit when you're brushing your teeth in the sink. You do that in the toilet or over a trash can, just because it's kind of gross. And you got to get it's the only place you get your water from. Some guys, I guess I'm hearing in the feds, drink out of their toilet. I don't know if you've heard it, talk to anyone, but like they're like, my toilet's so clean you could, which I'm never going that far, and you know, strike me down if I ever get close to that. But yeah, some guys like keep their toilet so clean, I think they get their water from it, is what I've heard. And then there's the bathtub hooch, which is gross too, but I feel like that's not as bad as alcohol. Kind of kills the germs, but.
Right.
Oh my God, yes. Some of the stories you hear in here are just like, oh my gosh. And some of the things you see, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Scooter's told you a lot. He's pretty good at. I mean, he's good at like when he gets on the Northern Neck Vigil. He's really good at elaborating. I have trouble because there's so many bad things to choose from. But Scooter's good at it. He's like, I just wasn't eating towards the end. And yeah, I mean, we're not Northern Neck, so DC is a little better than Northern Neck. But yeah, I can't believe this thing is still going on. Yeah, are you guys out there by the graveyard?
We are.
Yeah, that's crazy. I have a view of that thing. It's not one of the scarier graveyards, but it's kind of creepy. Graveyards are.
You know, it doesn't creep me out much. I just know that they're all Democrat voters.
Oh yeah, they voted in the yeah, definitely.
For sure. Yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories about DC, Northern Neck, and just jail in general. I think that there's, I mean, there's always there's always bad elements here in jail. You know, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be a great time. But some of them, I think, are really just that horror stories. You know, I don't know. I would never be drinking out of the toilet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I am thankful I'm not in Northern Neck. I don't know if there's. I actually heard Northern Neck was going to start housing children soon.
Yeah, they want to house juveniles there.
Yeah, so
because they were so good taking care of the adult inmates that they have, that now they want to be stewards of children.
Yeah, no, that. Oh my God.
So
like,
we
anyone listening, could you?
I'm sorry, Mickey and I went
just
down
send them a letter. No, go ahead, Tammy. Sorry.
Mickey and I went down to the prison board, the jail board meeting, right?
Jail board meeting in Northern Neck, and Ted Hall is leaving, and there are new members coming on board. But you know, the Northern Neck Patriots are still continuing to look into the goings on in that jail, and they were very instrumental in getting all the J6ers out of there. And so, you know, it's a strong group of patriots that give us hope, give me hope for this country, that we still have pockets of people that will stand up and do the right thing. They're out there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. There really are. So many more people care than you know, a lot of people think. So that's huge, and I'm so thankful we're out of Northern Neck. That place was terrible.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there cannot be children in Northern Neck. That cannot be allowed to happen. You know how everything's, you know, when you're a kid, everything's so much more significant, and
right.
I can't even think of how scarring it would be for a kid to be in Northern Neck with that, just the terrible food and the I mean, yeah, they should not be allowed to house children. I mean,
they shouldn't be allowed to have any inmates, to be honest.
You said what?
They shouldn't be allowed to have any inmates at all, honestly.
Yeah, they really shouldn't. They haven't shown that they've been able to house adults, let alone children. But
well, maybe things will change after Ted Hall leaves. Maybe.
Yeah, my lawyer had an incident that he got one of Ted Hall's emails, and apparently one of my lawyer's clients was complaining, and he was saying, you know, how terrible Northern Neck is. You know, they leave the lights on all night, which is one of a million things bad they do. But apparently Ted Hall, you know, got wind of this, and he said to someone else, well, he thinks it's bad now. Let's show him how bad he really had it. So with comments like that, I don't know how. Yeah, and that got out. So like with comments like that, I don't know how that's, you know, that place is still operating, especially with a federal contract. Local jails are hell to begin with, and I was surprised to learn that prison is generally better than jail. So
Right.
I was pretty surprised to learn that, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how a place like that is operating, and you know,
Well, it's a privately owned facility, so they don't have any oversight. I learned the day
You have 1 minute remaining.
and they told me, you know, whatever county coroner would come out, and I said, well, I want to talk to those people then, because those would be the people that would be investigating, you know, right? And they said, no, the jail investigates incidents of the jail, and the jail polices incidents of the jail. So there is no oversight of privately owned facilities like that, and it's a huge problem.
It is a huge problem.
Yeah, it was a huge problem when I think me, Scooter, and Andrew Taki, we were all on APOD, and I had an incident where the guard was reading off a report I made in front of everyone else, and he mentioned something wildly inappropriate, and we were all trying to file PRIAs, and they were blocking them from going through. We had to contact a local shelter to get the PRIA out, and I don't even know if anything came of it, but yeah, they were actively blocking the PRIAs. But yeah, before I get cut off, thank you guys. Thank you everyone listening and everyone for your support. We really appreciate it. You know, just keep praying for us. But
Absolutely, we'll definitely be praying for you. We love you, Patriot.
Thank you for...
She didn't get me. She did not. But you know, that is a big problem that these guys have, is when they file grievances, the grievances don't go anywhere because the people that they're filing the grievances against are taking those slips of paper and throwing them in the trash. So it's a huge problem that we have, not just in these local jails, but in the prison, in the BOP as well. And then they will tell us, oh, well, there's absolutely none of that going on in the BOP. We just sat in a committee hearing last week and listened to the director absolutely lie and say that, you know, there's nobody being politically persecuted in the BOP. And we know that to be a lie because we know how they treat our prisoners. We know how they treat our hostages. So, you know, if you are ever confused about a way that you can get involved, you can write letters to your congressman, to your state representatives. You can make phone calls. You can talk to other people about it and get other people involved. You know, everybody has a group of friends that they talk to on a regular basis. And if you just start talking to your friends about, you know, things that you can do to become activated in your own community, we could get a lot going and we could get a lot done. You know, we just all have to get up and get working.